first part of this series, a well-known K-pop band named FS2T helped us out with setting up our timeline for success. In this second part, we'll be learning about audio quality and how to fight for your right to pure sound with none other than the Beastie Boys. Hi, I'm Michael Card. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss the drop on a future video. Have you ever been prepping your edit to go to mix, but deep down you knew that your audio sources could be of better quality? Look, I'm not saying we should point any fingers, but maybe we could blame that producer that told you an MP3 would be just fine. I'm looking at you, Jennifer. I'm looking at you. Or maybe it was that assistant editor who swears that no dual system sound came in for that interview when you personally saw him trip over the production sound mixer on set. Sometimes it just feels like sabotage. Look, I'm here to tell you that you don't need to settle for second-rate sound. You deserve the best, but sometimes you gotta fight for it. In fact, just like the Beastie Boys said back in 1986, you gotta fight for your right to pure sound.
You gotta fight for your right to party!
Or something like that. You see, there's a trend these days to use whatever quality is easily available and not fight for the good stuff. So let's not get ourselves in a straitjacket we can't get out of because we use terrible audio sources. We can absolutely strive for better, right? It's not that we're audio snobs, we just want audio that's a sure shot. Do you want some clean, high-quality audio sources? That's what you want. Let's get it together and fight for our right to the good stuff. First off, let's talk clean dialogue. The most important element of any edit is the dialogue and narration because that's the story.
Now here's a little story that I got to tell.
So make sure you have those clean, with no music or effects baked in. I've received many audio preps with music baked into the dialogue. If both of those elements reside in one file, they're not able to be separated and mixed by traditional means. And if they're cut up against a music file, they're going to end up with a mix you could best describe as rhyming and stealing as those songs fight against each other. Well, hold up. I know you mixers have fancy tools nowadays. Can't you just take the music out somehow? The short answer is yes, with a huge loss of quality. It's true that mixers have incredible tools these days like Isotope RX, but these tools aren't turning water into wine. There's only so much bandwidth available in an audio file, and the best quality is always going to be from the original unaffected source. So make some noise, become your post-super's worst nightmare, and demand that original clean dialogue. What's more, let's avoid the mix-up, which is where you mix up which dialogue sources are best. If the audio person on set rolled dual system sound to a sound devices, for instance, the second system sound is almost always going to be better quality than what's available on the camera. Now, why is that? Because the preamps and converters on those second system sound devices are much better than the audio hardware on the camera. Plus, most of the time you'll have access to more mic channels for your mixer, who will show you some serious gratitude. For all of these reasons, make sure to take the time to sync that sound back to picture and use it versus the sound on the camera. Let's talk mono versus stereo. The Beastie Boys didn't mix their music in mono. So why should we? Let's check our sources to ensure that everything that should be in stereo definitely is. First off, for dialogue, narration, and some effects, mono might be just fine, but music in mono is going to become problematic in the mix, especially if you're mixing in surround sound. So how do you avoid this? If you open the clip in your source monitor and it only has one waveform instead of two or more, that's mono. Look for the song in stereo and replace it in your timeline. But the real pain is when you get dual mono files, which have two or more waveforms in the source monitor but still sound mono. The way to check these is to cut them into your timeline, pan channel 1 left and channel 2 right, and listen to see if it plays in stereo or not. If it still sounds like it's in mono, chances are it is, and you'll need to try to track down a stereo version of it. Thirdly, file quality. Let's see how we can avoid triple trouble with our third and final category. Many finishing workflows use a proxy method where you will link back to higher quality video in finishing. But on the audio side, you're going to want to be editing with the highest quality sources you have available, since what's in your timeline is going directly to mix. You want to make sure all your sources, whether they are narration, dialogue, music, or effects, are ideally in uncompressed 24-bit 48 kilohertz quality or better. Professional codecs such as ProRes and DNxHR usually do not compress audio. So you can be cutting using a proxy workflow and the audio attached will still be fully uncompressed quality. Pretty cool. But formats such as MP3, MP4, H.264 compress audio sometimes severely. Here's some uncompressed audio formats: ProRes, DNxHR, WAV, AIFF. And here are some compressed audio formats: AAC, MP3, MP4, H.264. Therefore, you always want to pay attention to your sources. If you were given an H.264 to edit with, ask if the footage was ever sent at higher quality. If you were sent an MP3 music file, ask for the music in WAV or AIFF. Then, make sure you cut in the audio from those higher quality sources before you send your edit to mix. Eventually, it will be time to get ill and pass the mic over to your mixer. And look, it may seem that I'm being a bit unreasonable here, but I'm really not trying to bust in like your mom, I swear. I just want your mix to keep people's body moving all the way to the 5 boroughs. Ultimately, if the quality you have is really the best quality available to tell the story, it's all good, but it's worth a slow and low final check before you send your timeline to mix, because a lot of times that music MP3 you have cut in can easily be found as a WAV or AIFF on the music library site it came from. You want to make your mixer go from hello nasty to hey ladies. Give them the very best quality possible, and they've got a license to ill. Thanks so much for learning how to fight for your right to pure sound with me today. As this is the second part of a 3-part series, there's a lot more great knowledge headed your way. Next up, learn how to organize your timeline like an orchestra by clicking on the next video right, I don't know. It's somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Find it. Find the video. Why are we still here? Click the next video.